Hello everyone and welcome to this interesting episode of Ignition Time. There was a face-off, a clash between the Republican Jim Jordan, there he is, what's up Jim, and the one and only Dr. Anthony Fauci, there's Dr. Fauci. Folks, this is one of the most interesting exchanges I've seen between a lawmaker and a health expert in a long time. And this is not the first time Jim Jordan and Dr. Anthony Fauci have clashed. In this very interesting exchange, Jim Jordan essentially asked Anthony Fauci about civil liberties, about the fact that there have been a lot of restrictions placed on our fellow Americans for a long time. And Dr. Anthony Fauci essentially fires back and says, hey, this isn't personal. This is based on a medical scenario, based on the actual numbers. And this is a very interesting exchange. I'm going to play the entire segment for our viewers and subscribers, the entire exchange between Jim Jordan, there he is once again, what's up Jim, and Dr. Anthony Fauci. And I want you to comment below and let me know whether you agree with Jim Jordan or whether you agree with Dr. Anthony Fauci. Folks, I want our viewers and subscribers to know that this is not a black and white discussion. There are many shades of gray. And honestly, for me, this is not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. We are all Americans first. But this exchange highlights the deep divisions in our country. As you can see, Jim Jordan essentially goes on and on about the fact that our civil liberties have been compromised. And Dr. Anthony Fauci goes on and on about the numbers, about the fact that more than 500,000 of our fellow Americans have died. Who is right and who is wrong? That's for you to judge based on the clip that you're about to see. This opens up a fascinating or controversial discussion about whether the lockdown, whether the restrictions have gone too far, or whether we should be listening to Dr. Fauci and whether we should continue to be careful and in order to avoid another surge, which would be devastating, which by the way has happened and is happening in other parts of the world. There are parts of Europe, there are parts of Southeast Asia that are shutting down as you're watching this video because of the surge in the pandemic again. And who's to say whether that can happen or cannot happen again in the US. The bottom line is we need to be careful. But again, let's go to this incredible, this controversial, this divisive video clip, if you will, of an exchange that just took place. It just took place between Dr. Anthony Fauci and Jim Jordan from Ohio. Let's roll the tape. Check this out. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Congressman Jordan, is to get as many people vaccinated as quickly as we possibly can to get the level of infection in this country low, that it is no longer a threat. That is when. And I believe when that happens, you will see.
What determines when?
I'm sorry.
What measure? I mean, are we just going to continue this forever, or when do we get to the point? What measure? What standard? What objective outcome do we have to reach before Americans get their liberty and freedoms back?
You know, you're indicating liberty and freedom. I look at it as a public health measure to prevent people from dying and going to the hospital.
You don't think Americans' liberties have been threatened the last year, Dr. Fauci? They've been assaulted. Their liberties have.
I don't look at this as a liberty thing, Congressman Jordan.
Well, that's obvious.
As a public health thing.
But
I disagree with you on that.
You think the Constitution is suspended during a virus, during a pandemic? It's certainly not.
This will end for sure when we get the level of infection very low. It is now at such a high level, there's a threat again of major surges.
Dr. Fauci, over the last year, Americans' First Amendment rights have been completely attacked. Your right to go to church, your right to assemble, your right to petition your government, freedom of the press, freedom of speech have all been assaulted. I mean, for a year now, Americans haven't been able to go to church. Even today, when they go to church, they're limited in the size of worshipers who can meet. Your right to assemble? Oh, my goodness. We had a curfew last fall in Ohio. You had to be in your home at 10. In Pennsylvania, you had to be in your home. When you're in your home, you had to wear a mask. In Vermont, when you were in your home, you didn't have to wear a mask, Dr. Fauci, because you weren't allowed to have people over to your house.
Yeah, Congressman Jordan.
Your ability to petition your government, for a year, American citizens haven't been able to come to their capital to petition their government, to talk to their representatives, and freedom of the press. These very pictures that Representative Scalise just showed you and talked about, guess what? The press isn't allowed in those facilities. The press is not, the Biden administration will not let the press in there. And certainly freedom of speech. I mean, governor of our third largest state meets with physicians, and that video is censored because they dare to disagree with Dr. Fauci. So I just want to know, when do Americans get their First Amendment liberties back?
You know, I don't think anything was censored because they felt they couldn't disagree with me. I think you're making this a personal thing, and it isn't.
It's not a personal thing.
No, you are. That is exactly what you're doing.
No, your recommendations carry a lot of weight, Dr. Fauci. We just had the chair of the Financial Services Committee said she loves you and you're the greatest thing in the world.
My recommendations are consistent.
Will the gentleman yield?
No, it's my
Now, could I answer the question, please? My recommendations are not a personal recommendation. It's based on the CDC guidance, which is
and I'm asking the
question:
what measures have to be attained before Americans get their First Amendment liberties back?
I just told you that.
No, you haven't given anything specific. You said we hope when this. Tell me specifically.
Right now, we have about 60,000 infections a day, which is a very large risk for a surge. We're not talking about liberties. We're talking about a pandemic that has killed 560,000 Americans.
I get that,
That's what we're talking about.
And I don't disagree with that. And I understand how serious that is. But I also understand it's pretty serious when businesses have been shut down. People can't go to church. People can't assemble in their own homes with their friends, with their families. People can't go to a loved one's funeral. People can't get to their government, petition their representative to redress their grievances. Right. I also understand the First Amendment's pretty darn important. And it's been a year. And I want to know when Americans will get those First Amendment liberties back.
Right. You just said people cannot assemble in their own homes. They can. That's a CDC recommendation for vaccinated
Not last fall they couldn't.
I didn't hear.
Not last fall they couldn't.
I didn't hear what he said.
The gentleman's time has expired. I'll give you one instance of when we can get our liberties back. It's when 90% of the members of the United States Congress get vaccinated.
Well, I want to know if that's what Dr. Fauci is. It 90%, Dr. Fauci? Is it 90%? That's what I'd like to know. Give us some objective standards versus when certain things get reached, we might be able to get back to having our liberty. When? What are the numbers?
Well,
you're going to see a gradual right now we're at an unacceptably high level. On a daily basis, it's unacceptably high, regardless of who you are. What you're going to see as more and more people get vaccinated, and we get over 3 million people a day, you're going to see the level of infection come down, and gradually there will be more flexibility for doing the things that you're talking about.
Where does it get to? When it comes down, what number do we get our liberties back? Tell me the number.
So as you can see, I decided to play the entire clip without any interruptions so that you can judge for yourself. Let me know which side you're on. Let me know in the comment section below whether you agree with Jim Jordan's comments, his rationale, or whether you agree with Dr. Anthony Fauci's comments and his rationale. I'm appreciative of your thoughts. I'm looking forward to your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. This right here is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I want you to know that I really appreciate you. And at the end of the day, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with Jim? Hey, Jim. Or do you agree with Dr. Anthony Fauci? What's up, Dr. Fauci? Because the points of view are quite different. The thing that actually struck me was the passion, the intensity of Jim Jordan, and the fact that his mask kept coming down, and Dr. Anthony Fauci's mask was firmly in place. I mean, there were many other things that jumped out during this rather unusual exchange. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.